Hey kids, you're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
Prepare for the SML Podcast.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Apologize for my lateness.
Already explained, and I think I went through the entirety of your opening dialogue stuff that you always go over with them, I think. You might want to go over it again just in case I missed something. Hey, that's not fair. That's my job. The fuck?
Hello, Dmitry. How are you?
Thank you. How are you?
I am awake, surprisingly. Just before I jumped in the chat room, I told our stream that you always got to love it when you set an alarm, you set a second alarm, make sure that first alarm goes off. And then when the alarm doesn't go off, you look at your phone and realize you set it for 9 p.m.
Good job.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I've never had that problem because I've always gone by military time. Booyah. Also, I'm shocked you can wake up with just 2 alarms. I have like 5.
I have a very loud alarm.
So do I. It's loud and annoying and obnoxious. All 3, just like me. And Jacob, even more so.
Anyone is a fan of the band Lamb of God. Their song Memento Mori is my ringtone.
There you go.
Dmitry, what kind of alarms do you use, and do they work?
I use the very basic alarm, and it helps me get up on time. It's just like more about discipline for me. I worked hard on that for quite a while to make this whole thing work. But yeah, so like a normal alarm is all I need, luckily.
Very good. Yes, welcome to SML Podcast, the Setting More Alarms podcast. That was awful, and I'm sorry. I'm Joe. I'm the host. Aki and Bri are here hanging out. And Dmitry from RedBoon is here. How are you doing today?
Fine. Had a pretty active, Saturday.
Anything fun going on over there?
Not a lot of fun things, a lot of mundane things you just have to do to maintain your life. So, some cooking, some shopping, some chores.
Did you say cooking or cocaine?
Cooking, not cocaine.
Oh, okay.
I heard cocaine too. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Just, usual day. Wake up, brush your teeth, do a couple lines, make breakfast.
I think a couple lines would make a lot of those things go, way faster.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm waiting until the show's over to start my laundry. So yeah, that's Saturday for me.
For a second, I thought you were saying that you were waiting for the show over was to do cocaine.
Well, that would make my Saturday go a lot faster.
No, that's a Monday thing for Bri, obviously. Duh.
Well, hell of a way to start your week.
Probably should have warned you our show gets weird sometimes. You are here from RedBoon to chat about your game Knock on the Coffin Lid. For the people who don't know what this game is, give us the sales pitch. What is this game? Who are you? What's your company? What are you doing here? How'd you find us?
All right, so Knock on the Coffin Lid is a roguelike deck building game. And before, half of our listeners are just going away because there's 1,000 of those all over the market, we are doing a little bit of twist with that. We are actually trying to make it a narrative game. So we have like a deep lore in this game, a lot of story going on. So yeah, structurally something closer maybe to Hades and such games, when you're just not just playing the same thing all over again. You are actually invested in characters and things going on around you, trying to figure out. And well, we want people to be interested in what's going on and what's happening and what are the characters and what's the whole story. So yeah, that's our feature. That's our thing. Being not just like all the others roguelike deck builders, which are not essentially bad, that just know that some people don't like those. But we're trying to give them a little bit of story-oriented spin. Let's call it that. So yeah, I'm a producer at RedBoon, so I'm doing a little bit of marketing, a little bit of handling the stores, a little bit of game design, like a little bit of everything, basically. Yeah, so I've joined the team not so long ago, actually, like half a year ago, helping release our latest DLC, Nightmares of Millennius, and also releasing the whole thing on consoles, basic PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series.
Very cool. When did the game first launch on PC?
It launched a little less than a year ago. It was August 8th last year. So as we're closing to summer, it's almost in a couple of months, it will be our first year anniversary.
Nice.
And yeah, we managed to pull off releasing the game, the DLC, and releasing on consoles.
Very awesome. Were you there for the PC launch, or did you come in just after that?
I came a little bit after that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I missed the initial launch.
Do you know how long the development of the original game was?
Yeah, of course. It actually took a little bit more than 5 years, since it was like at the beginning it was a side project for our founder, and then gradually it grew and grew and grew and grew, and at a certain point when it was obvious that this whole thing is kind of coming to life, it all became a full-time work for a lot of people.
How long would you say it was in development for the majority of the crew to make this their full-time gig? Because I've had a handful of friends in game development over the years myself, and there's some that right at the bat, they just quit their job, dump life savings into this project, and ride it out as long as they can. And then we have a lot of devs who treat game development more as like a side hobby, where they just keep their normal day job, nights and weekends, they fuck around doing a game, and eventually it comes out.
Yeah, I know a lot of stories like that. I think for the most of the crew, it was like past couple of years being their all-time job, because there was it was when the game was closer to being like this whole thing, and the basis was made, and it had to grow, like muscles of story, of content, and this whole thing. So yeah, couple of years prior to release.
Gotcha. In the time you've been there, what all have you worked on directly?
So I helped with the DLC release, I helped with some of the marketing stuff, and I was curating the whole console porting and release cycle.
Nice.
From scratch to initial release.
So is this RedBoon's first project as a team?
Yes, it is. The studio was specifically formed for this project.
Nice.
Is it a mashup of former studios brought together? I know we'll see a lot of studios be remnants of a shut down studio that some other company just got tired of playing with their toys and threw it away. And then the devs get together under their own banner and start releasing good games again.
Well, some people had previous experience in, a couple of other studios. Someone worked on mobile, someone worked with, some of the web games, browser games. But a lot of people, it was their first. There were even some guys whose. Sorry, I'm a little bit missing the point here. So, for some people, it was their first job ever, and for some, it was their first game dev job.
Nice.
Yeah.
So devs of all types joining. That's a cool lineup. Would you consider yourself one of the newer or one of the later devs, like in experience wise?
I had a couple years as a publishing producer in indie publishing, so yeah, I was invited as like someone who has experience and some knowledge of how to do things, how to release things, how to work with the porting. I knew a little bit of marketing, so like we gathered a little production and marketing team at RedBoon to. So the release of the DLC and consoles would go smoother and overall better.
Very cool. For marketing, weird question. Do you know how to market a 12-year-old podcast that nobody listens to?
Oh.
More drugs and tits, I think.
We tried that with Jacob.
His aren't big enough, I'm afraid.
One day. What kind of games did you work on in your previous publishing jobs? Anything that we may know?
Let me think. There was not a lot of big hits, sadly. That's why I'm not working there anymore. So it was indie publishing called Revenage. We released about 10 games in a couple of years, maybe more. I didn't count them myself. I have released 6 projects in there. A couple of them were pretty well received overall. So it was, I think, the biggest thing we've released was Heretics Fork. It's, kind of a mishmash of tower defense and vampire survivors game. Nice. Yeah, it was pretty good, and there was this tiny little Anno-like game called Master Plan Tycoon. A small city builder, but like looking somewhat like, I don't know, planning board of Miro, if you know that, or something along those lines. So it looked very basic, yet it was quite entertaining, and the minimalist style, well, I personally liked, and I know a lot of our players liked. So yeah, those were a couple, I think, biggest ones.
Very cool.
I like that I routinely scan the chat to see if there's any interesting questions we could ask. And the first one I see is, has it really been 12 years? Yes. Wow. Oh, man. So tell us about the mechanics of Knock on the Coffin Lid. How does the game play? What is the progression mechanic in the game? What's going down in the game?
In terms of gameplay and progression, it's there are a lot of things that will be familiar to those who played, I don't know, like Slay the Spire, for example, because it's a pretty basic roguelike deck building game where you have to synergize certain cards. You have to build your own deck in a way while you are traversing through the world. We have a few our own twists on that. We have different classes. We have different characters. Which of them, each and every one of them, can unlock their own classes, which changes their basic deck. And then on top of that, you can equip certain items on your characters, which will improve some of the card's effects, or will give you some buffs, or even maybe debuffs sometimes, well, when exchanged to some powerful cards they will add to your collection. So yeah, you're upgrading the cards, you're getting new cards, you're getting items, you are leveling up your character to unlock new classes, and yes, when you get to the final boss, you get another character to try and complete the whole thing. And then when you are able to complete the base story with all 3 characters, the DLC is unlocked, and there is the whole other layer of gameplay there, because there are those tarot cards which give you a certain challenge, so they might restrict certain gameplay styles or sometimes boost other less popular game styles. So they give you a certain challenge to try and beat, and if you beat all of those cards, there are 12, if I'm not mistaken, you will unlock the true final of the game.
Nice.
So that's the gameplay loop. The interesting part in all of that all the characters are basically stuck in the time loop, and every time you die, you go back to the start, as like in any roguelike game, but your knowledge of the whole world remains, and not just your knowledge, but the knowledge of your character's knowledge of what's going to happen is retained. So going through the same events all over again might unlock some new possibilities for you, because like at one point of the story, you can find a bandit who is wounded by some mysterious man, and you can do a whole lot of things with him. You can talk to him, try to learn about this mysterious man. You can try to save the guy, and maybe even take him with you on your journey, and something like that. And like when you're meeting him first, you don't know anything about all of that. And then later in the other location, you can meet the mysterious man who wounded this bandit. And, this knowledge of this encounter might play in a lot of other different ways. You can fight this man, you can ignore him, you can, try to steal his equipment or something like that. And then if you just go further and die and return and meet the bandit, which is earlier in the timeline in your journey than the mysterious man who wounded him, you might have some new things that how you can interact with the bandit. Maybe you can, hire him for cheaper, or maybe you can piece a little bit of puzzle of what's happened between those two by asking some questions you wouldn't know before that. And so these are the interactions which are mainly, we hope, would keep people engaged in the gameplay, because this is just one short story, and there are a lot of those. And with each character coming to the very same events, they have a different reactions to them also. So you can so there's, some bandit camp, and like coming there as a human character, Percival, you have certain actions, and those guys react a certain way to you. They're like, okay, this is just another weary traveler. They might try to mug you, and if you're, persuasive enough, they might tell you to join them and something like that. But then coming as Bjorn, who's an elf, they will treat them differently. And like then there is another character coming there, and they will treat her differently. And so all of that complexity builds upon itself. So to build the whole story, to understand the whole world, you will actually need to replay this whole game, a couple of times with all of the characters. Yeah. So
a couple hundred maybe. Because I've seen some of the options.
I know you'll do it.
Oh yeah, I've gone the same route I think 4 times now. Because at least one of them has 5 options to it, and I'm going through all of them. Because I'm psychotic.
What did you do with like choose your own adventure books as a kid? Did you just keep your fingers in like all of the pages of the past previous choices? Like, oh, I could die at the end of this one. Let me flip back 9 choices and change the story completely.
No, typically I just read it straight through as though it was a normal book, because I'm sick and twisted. And and I just mentally put stuff where it was supposed to be because I would eventually figure it out.
Speaking of choose your own adventure, there are just a ton of stories in this like that. How many separate stories would you guess there are to encounter?
Oh, a lot. Pieces of those you can see in the final, like, spoiler alert. You can see a couple of those in the final after you complete the game. So basically, it gives you a little rundown of general stories which you have encountered or maybe not encountered, and how those played out in the end. So yeah, and I think maybe 20 or somewhere around that is the amount of stories we show you in the end, and there are, tiny little things that you can encounter, which are like this one encounter, and they are not part of the great story. It's just a self-contained thing you can play out differently. So, and there are a couple of those. So tens of them, maybe not hundreds, but tens definitely.
You have a favorite encounter? I think I've only gone on so many because I'm still pretty early in the game, but there was this one thing about plump orcs making the best potions, and I thought that was just great. The options with that. So far, that's my favorite little encounter.
There is a little encounter with the orc war chief called Batu the Smart. He's a fun guy, and his story is fun, and what you can get out of it is pretty good, actually. Won't spoil the whole thing, but, I like that, I think. One of my favorites.
I've run into Batu, so yeah. Very cool.
He's a fun guy, yeah.
Question from chat. M317 asks, you may not be able to answer this, but what's your favorite character in the game?
I think... Damn, it's hard to choose. They're all different. They all have their own
like picking your favorite cat, right?
Yeah. It's a hard one. I think I'll go with Bjorn. Bjorn is the funniest one, I think, in terms of like how he treats everything around him. So I don't actually agree with a lot of things he would like to do, and he says. But overall, like as a character, I think I enjoy the most watching him and like his gameplay.
How many? How to say this? How many areas are there? I guess I'll put it like that. Because each little spot you land on is a level in my mind. So how many areas are there? Like, you go from the first area, and then you take your boat to the next area, and then your boat to the next area. How many of those are there? Because I don't know where I am in the story, because there's one boss that routinely kicks my ass. So I've never even taken away all of his shields. So I'm not sure where exactly I am in the entirety of the game.
So overall, we have 4 zones, like general zones. The first one and the last one are always the same. So you will start at the same point, you end at the very same point, and then there are 2 in the middle, which you can kind of choose where to go from the first location. So it's either the plains or the swamps.
Okay, I've gotten past the swamps and into the area after that, and the boss of that place keeps kicking my butt. Like, I don't stand a chance. It drives me nuts, because I'm playing on the easiest too.
Well, you can try going another way, trying, other encounters, trying, or eventually you will just level up your character and unlock some other class, which might be easier for you to play with.
Okay. Very nice. Is there a way to tell what abilities or curses are currently affecting your character in this?
You need to look through your items and your deck, because all the curses and all the bad stuff happening to you usually is shown on the character itself. If it's a status effect which is permanent and you get it as part of an event, for example. But most of the items give you just a curse card, which resides in your deck, and you draw it at some point, and it's just written like, "This is a curse. If you don't drop it, something will happen, or if you play it, something will happen." So yeah, and they have this, yellowish green hue to them. They don't look very good. So yeah, you obviously can tell.
I just know in one of my runs, every time I would play a card, it would delete 2 cards from my hand and draw another one, and that wrecked me so quickly.
I think it's one of the items you've picked. So look through your inventory. Okay.
Oh, that stuff's real fun. I keep using the cursed sword for every playthrough because I'm like, this is just fun. It does good damage. I like it.
Cursed sword. There could be nothing wrong with this.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's great.
I wonder what it was.
It's not the cursed sword. The cursed sword's amazing. I don't know what you're talking about. I think one of my favorite interactions so far is kissing the corpse. That was just hilarious.
Yeah, there are those.
Yeah. I wanted a curse, so I kissed a corpse.
I kissed the corpse and I liked it.
No, I have a feeling that's what gave me that lose 2 cards, draw a card thing. Because that was the same run too. I have a feeling that was it, and I don't think I'm going to do that again. As funny as that was.
Yeah, there are a few such encounters where you can try to do questionable things for sometimes for straight up buffs, and sometimes for other also questionable things.
I got some cursed boots as my first curse item. There was some bandit I came across that was injured, and you have the option to either heal him or just put him out of his misery. And I decided to put him out of his misery and stole his shoes. I wasn't expecting the stealing his shoes, but I tried wearing them. They seemed fine.
Well, didn't notice anything. Okay, huh?
There are a lot of tiny. There are a lot of things which are cursed by themselves, and the whole set of things which will also have set bonuses. So there's a demonic set which plays around curses, and there is the Fire Brothers set which also plays around certain curses. So you might try to find pieces of those, try to stack them. Well, if it's your type of gameplay, and see what it gets you.
In my last playthrough, I finally found most of the pieces of the Fire Brothers set. I was like 1 piece away from having the full thing, and I was like, oh, really? Because I would have bought all the pieces, because I had so much gold, because I don't buy anything in the game. I just go with whatever I find.
You have to look into set bonuses. I didn't even think about that.
Not very many of them exist, sadly. It is through leveling up, do you get any other benefits than eventually unlocking different classes? Like, because I know when you restart a loop, you get some things that you can do, like increasing a couple of the powers of your cards or getting some items. When you level up, do you get more of any of that stuff, or
no? Those are just like, there's a list of things that Mortis can offer you in the very beginning, and those are randomized every time. Like, so they're taken from the big list of things he can offer you and shorten up to, I think, 5. And no, those don't change. Those are just like random things he can offer you every time, and it doesn't matter what class you are on, what character you're on. They're all pretty neutral and applicable to all characters and classes equally. So, and yeah, by leveling up, you are unlocking classes and some related cards to them. So eventually you might come across a little bit more cards in the world if you have leveled up a few characters.
Okay. Dang, I was really hoping that as I leveled up, I could upgrade more and more of my cards at the very beginning, because that is like the best thing to do, in my opinion. I love that ability.
There are a few ways to get yourself more upgrades via like choosing a specific route or completing certain encounters in a certain way and getting certain items or ways to upgrade your card.
I found at least one of those, praying to some elven altar or something, and then I get an upgrade as one of the choices, and I always choose that because who needs an item when I can upgrade my cards and do more damage that way? It's so much better.
You can get an item which will upgrade your cards and make them do more damage. So you should try that probably. Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I'm gonna have to go find that because I didn't know there'd be an item that would do that too.
Yeah, some certain elite fights might get you some stronger items or straight up give you an ability to upgrade your cards. Some bosses, some events which you might go through in a certain way might also reward you with like charms, which may upgrade your cards or give you an ability to upgrade more cards. There are a lot of things in there, a lot of ways to play, and a lot of ways to play a certain way. Let's phrase it like that.
Okay. Is there a way to limit what kind of stuff you're likely to get in the level, or is it all just pure randomized and there's nothing we can do to try and limit it? Because I've wanted to get a spear again, because my very first playthrough had a spear, and I really liked that, and I've never encountered another spear again, and it's made me so sad.
Well, I believe there are no ways to narrow your to narrow the amount the items you get in any way. So there are certain encounters that will guarantee you getting certain items, like bosses, for example. They always drop some specific to them, some items specific to them. But I think majority of items are just like luck based. If you can get them, or you might not.
Okay. Do bosses ever alternate? Because I know my first playthrough, I had, as my first boss, I fought a druid guy, and since then I've only gotten a guy who rides a bear instead. Does that ever switch? Is it just randomized which boss I got? Or is it your first playthrough is going to be this boss, and after that boss doesn't appear again? Or how exactly does that work?
Well, all the main bosses can have, well, not the main bosses, the bosses which are at the end of the map. There are a pool of them for each locations, and they just like choose one of them randomly at the start of each run.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, you encountering the very same for multiple times is just, well, your luck. Or unluck.
In other words, bad luck. Yep, that's me. I'm surprised I haven't broken the game yet, to be honest.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I've tried to, and I've failed.
Bri, did you break it yet?
I didn't break it. I broke 2 games already this week, though.
I am so fucking disappointed in both of you for not breaking this game. Our staff on SML is very good somehow at glitching out and breaking games. It dates back basically our entire history. I've just somehow been lucky enough to work with people who are good at destroying programming in games somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats on having a stable game that they couldn't break.
Yet. The key word is yet. I'm still trying, and I've only gone one pathway, the far left, every time. Once I get
choosing the other ones will break the game.
Exactly. Once I get to where I've covered all the routes and I pick my favorite route through each area, I'll probably break the game, because that's what I'm going to be aiming to do, is make myself so stupidly overpowered that I shatter everything. And I almost did it once, I think. Because I went to a fight and I started with like 50-something strength, which I don't understand how I had that, but I was fine with it. Because that's like for every point of that, you could do like 3 points of damage or something, I think was the calculation. So I was doing obscene amounts of damage. I still lost to the boss, and that was upsetting. Yeah, I just cannot beat the final boss of this game to save my life.
Well, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Extremely.
It is supposed to be like that. You'll get a grip of it eventually, like in every roguelike game. Because I remember like playing Hades, for example, and like I was stuck at the very first boss. I think for like 30 of my first runs, I just couldn't beat her at all. But after that, like when I eventually like got a grip of the game and like got some upgrades and unlocked some things, I just there was one time I just like destroyed her and went, I think, to the very end on that run and just lost to Hades himself or somewhere along those lines. So yeah, sometimes it's just a little bit of luck, sometimes it's a little bit of your own knowledge, sometimes it's about a little bit of just grinding the things.
Yeah, see, I've only died to the end boss other than one time, and I did that on purpose by eating mushrooms that I knew were doing damage to me, just to see if they ever didn't do damage. I just kept eating them. And for anyone wondering, they always just do damage.
Aki, just wondering, have you ever put a fork in an outlet?
Yes.
Got shocked. Then you're like, or if that'll happen again.
Yeah.
And then repeat it?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Also stuck my hand in fire multiple times, too. So, I don't learn things, Jeff. You should know this.
True.
Not a very long question, but do we get to learn Mortis's true intentions by the end, or who really poisoned the wine? I know you don't want to spoil anything. I just want to know that we actually find out who poisoned the wine at some point.
Don't spoil this thing. It's like a major story beat, so you will have to figure it out by yourself.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I've already figured it out. I'm pretty sure I figured it out.
You shut your face
immediately.
You're not allowed to tell anything. Till the show's over and the recording's done and the stream is off, then you can tell Bri everything. Till she yells at you, tells you to shut up, and you keep going.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's a me thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about the art in this game. It's a really good looking game, really cool art style, and I was incredibly happy to go to the Steam page and see zero mention of AI artwork, which makes me very happy. Tell us, who did the art in this game? Where did the designs come from? Just all the info on the visual flair of this title.
Well, the visual flair was set up pretty early. This is one of the things that was made pretty early on. Just like we understood that we wanna something dark and gritty, and there was our initial art director who set this whole thing up, like gave us this initial push to this art style. Sadly, he didn't work very much with us. Don't know the details of what happened, but like he set up this whole thing, and then there was something happened, and he left the team. Sadly, so yeah, and we just picked up from what was the basis, and it was a lot of artistic vision of a lot of different people who worked with us on the art style, and they were adding their own tiny little things. And luckily, we had a very, very good art team who were able to see all of that, to pick up on each other's decisions in terms of like taking them and using them themselves. So we managed to have a coherent art style throughout the whole game.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it was an iterative process of many people working on art through this 5 years' time.
Another art-related question. I didn't get a chance to go through all the settings and see what accessibility options were there. Do you have any arachnophobia options in the game? Because I've noticed a lot of spiders.
Sadly, no. It's how the whole thing is built that we cannot, sadly, get those options in the game, because it will require us to build whole other models to implement and to just turn off those spider-like creatures. They're mostly mites, not spiders. Yeah, but like I understand from where you're going, because like they're big, scary bug things with a lot of legs, with too many legs. So yeah, but sadly, yeah, the way the game is built, we're not able to do that quickly. So and luckily, we didn't have a lot of issues from like not a lot of players reported something like that. So we decided that maybe it's not the thing we are in dire need right now.
That makes sense. I just know that's an issue that comes up in some games. I figured I would give and ask a potential solution, although I think this could be fun as a toggleable option for all characters in the games. Googly eyes.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe I just don't know if a pair of googly eyes will help. Like, you know, when you see this thing with 6-8 legs, you know, and 6 more eyes around normal spider eyes around those 2 funny googly ones.
Normally, I say we have one good idea an episode. That was not it.
So are there any more plans for DLC? I know we have the Nightmares of Melenis, but any more plans for DLC?
Oh, there are a few narrative hooks left here and there that we might eventually pick up on, but like the main story is complete with the DLC included. Yeah, so right now, no, we don't have plans for any more DLCs, but like if at any point we decide we want to do it, we have a few things left to discuss, to tell stories about.
Were there any funny glitches or mistakes during development that you can talk about?
Oh, funny it would be. Oh, there was a couple of funny things with how the animations work in the game, because like we have a couple of bosses and characters which are pretty big and complex in terms of like how they're built. And sometimes they might have how should I put that? Sometimes their parts might be misplaced in a way that, you know, like they have 2 of their heads as their legs, and like they have a couple of tails as their arm, and something like that. So yeah, you just like you're entering a fight with this huge steam golem that the dwarves build, and you just see that it's like absolutely messed. Yeah, it's like the surprise factor is funny, and like you're like, what the hell is that? We even thought maybe we might do some like kind of an encounter with the broken stuff, but nothing. There were a lot of creative ideas, but none of them were technically very plausible. So we decided to ditch that.
So were there any other features or stories that ended up in the cutting room floor?
Yeah, there were a couple. We wanted to do like you might find quite some pop culture and games references throughout the encounters in the games, and so yeah, there was a lot of those we wanted to do, and a couple of those, well, not a couple, a lot of those got cut out because funny thing with such encounters, you want to add a lot of them, but then at a certain point, you understand that it will just hurt the integrity of the story and the world, and you just have to, like, you have 20 of those, and you have to cut it to like 5 or 7, and it's painful because you love all of those, and or maybe if you don't love precisely all of those, there are always someone who likes them all or likes specific ones which do not fit the whole thing. So yeah, there were a couple of those. I cannot remember all of those. Just trying to figure out like the most understandable for the widest amount of audience, whether we wanted to add, which didn't make the cut. Because like
kind of like picking a favorite cat.
Yeah, because you just like it was, first of all, it was pretty long ago, and like I've read about those encounters like in some backlogs somewhere deep in our task tracker. So I don't remember very good all of those, and of course the ones that pops to mind are the ones that are in the game right now, and I kind of don't want to spoil them because they're pretty fun, and like a lot of them are really recognizable, and you're like, oh, so that's what we got here. And that's the fun part of those. But yeah, we had a lot of encounters initially planned, like as a different types of fun reference or parody thing, but a lot of those got cut out just because we didn't want to ruin the integrity. And I think it's like there are a lot of games which sacrifice their own integrity and style to add such kind of things, like with crossovers and like for shits and giggles, some of those, and you know, it sometimes works, sometimes it does not. But well, that's just how I see those things. Obviously, for bigger games, this just works.
Yeah.
Got a question that we would normally get from one of our listeners, Root Beer. They're not here right now, but I feel like I still have to ask it, or they might curse me. It's on Steam. It just released on PlayStation and Xbox. Switch 2 in the cards.
We would like to port to Switch 2, but it's just in... It's a question about the development kits and testing kits, which are not yet available for a wide audience.
Yeah.
So we're thinking if maybe we can do a Switch port and then do a Switch 2 ports, but that might be 2 different ports, because like until we have the development kit for Switch 2, it's hard to tell how much different it is from the original Switch, and how hard it might be to port the game to it. Like, and especially if we have like Switch, if we would have a Switch version, because right now we don't have it, and like Switch 2 is the thing that's holding us back in terms of porting to Switch to Nintendo's systems in general, because it would be like it would be shame to port it to like a previous generation console just for the sake of nobody buying that, because everyone switches to Switch 2, switches to Switch. Never mind. So yeah, it's a conundrum we're working on currently.
Gotcha. Are you guys excited about the Switch 2 over there?
Yeah, in a certain way. Like I think it's always great when there is a new console on the market. It's just like an interesting thing on what the developers were able to cram into this tiny portable format this time. Like what's it's all about, how it works with the modern games and like some higher end games. Because I remember the initial ports of like bigger games to original Switch, like I don't know, The Witcher 3, for example, which was when it first released was how should I put that, in a weird state, and differed a lot from the PC version and other console versions. So eventually they made it much better, but like I wonder what will happen with the next thing. It's not an entirely like new generation of consoles, like, you know, when there is the PlayStation 6 and like the next Xbox, but it's still a certain step of consoles, of development, of, well, qualitative things, which the previous one was, of course, the Steam Deck, right after Switch, the original Switch. So yeah, we're excited as players and as developers.
Technology blows my mind where it is right now. Like, I had a Game Boy. Compare that shit to a Steam Deck. Like, it is such a gigantic leap in such a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. It blows my mind how gaming and technology is just shot up in terms of complexity and fidelity over literally 20, 30 years.
First thing that blew my mind in terms of like portative gaming was PlayStation Vita, the second generation of PlayStation Portable, because I also had a Game Boy, and like after that I didn't have a portable console, nothing like that. I didn't have the original PlayStation Portable, I didn't have the 3DS or anything like that. So switching from Game Boy straight to Vita was like, what the hell is this thing? How does this do all this magic? And you know,
is there a wizard in here?
Yeah, there's the touch screen, the touchpad on the bottom, and like the 2.6, and all the things are there. It was it was magic.
I will say the rear touch thing on the Vita may be the dumbest gimmick in the history of video games.
It was
Did anything use it outside of that one tech demo-ish game where you would just like roll the ball around with your finger?
I think there was the PlayStation Vita Uncharted game, which used all of its features, sometimes in a very weird way. And I think it's some games it doubled up as the L and R2s, because like you had only the bumpers, like L and R, which like L1, R1. And for some games, yes, they used the back touch pad as substitution for triggers. I think I played Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, which used it like that, and where there was something else, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Sony has weird gimmicks sometimes, but
yeah.
So, what are you playing when you're not working on game development yourself?
Oh, there are a lot of things. So I've recently completed Doom: The Dark Ages. Of course, nice. I played through all the Doom games. I love them. So of course, Expedition 33. Even though I'm not into JRPGs, I just like
Expedition 33 is so good.
Yeah.
It kind of exploded, and I decided, like, I have a Game Pass, so why wouldn't I try that? And I synced a couple of days, or maybe even weeks into that.
So if you said weeks, I'd believe that.
Well, it was not like
a lot more before days.
It was like, no, I don't have that much free time, just to play through the whole day and at this point in my life. So yeah, it was a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, like half of a Saturday there. So maybe in total it was a couple of days of playing.
Bad for you.
I think I've stopped somewhere at the very beginning of Act 3 and haven't touched the game since I've got there. It was like a week and a half ago, I think. But then, once again, there was Doom, and I had to play through that pretty quickly. Yeah. So, those are the recent single-player games I've played, and I really enjoy a lot of online games. So, of course, Helldivers 2 and the whole invasion of Super Earth, I had to be there to defend it. As a veteran Helldiver, I play some card games, some online card games like Marvel Snap. So, yeah, I think that's the overall what I'm playing right now. Have to finish Expedition though.
Very nice. Anything in the future you're looking forward to?
At this point, no, I don't think so. I've stopped waiting for games like a long time ago. I just I just see what comes out and I just try what I see. Not a lot of things I'm waiting on. Even like GTA 6, I know it will be eventually it will be there. Of course I will play it, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like a force of nature. It will just happen and I know it and I don't have to wait for it. It will be there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of big other games, I have a couple of them in my wish list on Steam, but like nothing that I would be waiting like when I was younger, when like, I don't know, I initially saw, for example, Batman Arkham Asylum. I remember how I was waiting for that. I was reading through everything about that. I was just like, yeah, I played the demo 100 times, and yeah, nothing like that anymore, sadly.
Any special favorite games of all time that you have?
Oh, that's a hard one. That's always the hard one, to pick the best and not the most favorite of anything.
Well, you're not limited to one, just a few favorites.
A few favorites. All right, I've already mentioned Batman Arkham series. I love them all. They are great, all 4 of them. Yes, I count the Arkham Origins games. I love that too. I love both Red Dead Redemption games, like the first one and the second one. They're great. I like BioShock. I think BioShock 2 is my favorite. Somehow, don't know. I know that it, tend to fall out of favor for many gamers, but I just like the feeling of being this big daddy and like, heavy steps on the floors of Rupture. That's a great gimmick. In terms of smaller games, I think Faster Than Light is one of my favorite indie games. I just love it. Yeah, let's round it at this, like 3, 4. No, we should go with the 5th one then. What will be the 5th game I like the most? I think it will be a Mortal Kombat series. I played them on Sega. I played them on original Xbox. And I've got all of them on my first on my PlayStation. Then there are a couple of I have a couple of those I have on my Xbox. So yeah, one of my favorite series. My favorite fighting game, definitely, and one of my favorite series of all times.
I like the Sega name drop. Were you a Sega kid instead of a Super Nintendo kid?
I didn't have neither of those. It always was one of my friends or relatives or someone like that who had one of. Well, we didn't have the NAS. We had its pirate ripoff, actually, which played the NAS games, which were also pirated. So, like, officially, Nintendo at that time was not present. And Sega was. So yeah, there were a couple of people with the rip-off Nintendos, but mostly I think the widespread thing was Sega.
Gotcha. Well, if you're ever looking for a good Nintendo game to try out, one of my all-time favorites I always love to recommend to people is an RPG called Earthbound for Super Nintendo. It's a very off-the-wall, bizarre humor, modern day setting. It's like you regen hit points with a hamburger you find out of a trash can, or you deal with a zombie invasion by using fly paper in a monster tent to trap them all. It's an off the wall RPG. It's one of my favorite games of all time, with one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. So I always love to recommend that one when I can.
Still need to play that.
Yes, you do, Bri. Aki, did you play it yet?
No.
I quit.
I never said I was going to play it even. What are you on?
Well, now you have to.
I don't know about that. I still have Doom and other games to play now. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of that still to play too. How much of that? God, there's so much.
Oh, man.
I'll get into it all one day.
Clock and we've already been talking for an hour. How did that happen? Is there anything you wanted to talk about the game that we didn't bring up?
I think I've covered most of the interesting things, and your questions were spot on. So, not sure if I can add anything. If you don't have anything to ask, no, some specifics.
I have one final question. Are there any plans or ideas for future games from RedBoon?
We're working on a couple of projects. Cannot disclosure those, but yeah, there are a few things in the works on different stages. So yeah, we are trying to get that success into other games. Good.
Very good. Aki, any questions on your end?
I'm too stupid for that. I've already asked all of mine. I only have so much brain power. Be nice.
All right, my last question. Dmitry, is Aki too stupid to ask any more questions?
Yes,
I don't think so.
Oh, Lord. Dmitry, it has been so fun having you on the show chatting with us. Give us all the information. Where can people keep up to date with you, your studio, the game, what's going on with everything? Give us all the addresses, the info. What do we need to keep up to date with you?
So you can follow us on Twitter. Yes, like Knock on the Coffin Lid. It's basically the account we use for all RedBoon related. Also on Blue Sky, of course, we have our Discord server. We have our Steam community. We're updating constantly about the game. So we have our own YouTube channel at RedBoon Studios. So you can go whatever you prefer the most. Follow us and see whatever you want to see about our games and our studio.
Very good. One more time, give us the name of the game, price of the game, location of the game, and why people should buy it.
So, the game is called Knock on the Coffin Lid. We are present in Steam. We are present in Epic Games Store, and I hope soon on Good Old Games. The standard price is $24.99, and we're also on consoles on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series with DLC of Nightmares of Millennium included. That's why it costs $34.99 there. And it's a roguelike deck builder with a heavy emphasis on the story, set in a grimdark world of Midian.
Fantastic. Dmitry, it has been incredible having you on. You've been an absolute blast to chat with. This time just flew by. Whenever RedBoon has something new to talk about, hit us up. We'd love to get you back on.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Do you have any final words to end the interview?
Good luck to everyone with whatever they're doing.
I got to play in 2010, right after a band, just sheer coincidence, because it was the person putting the show together did not know that did not know that one of the bands was a video game band, or that both of them were, but just that one of them had to do with video games. And but they happened to put us right next to each other, so we played with this band called Man Factory. And sadly they're defunct now, pretty much, but because one of their singer-songwriters moved. But they did a 3-album rock opera about Street Fighter 2, kind of rewriting the characters a little bit, and it's all original music. It's not like they're using Street Fighter 2 music and adding words. Like, they actually wrote this whole, I would say, a power pop kind of, type of thing. Great like riffs and melodies and harmonies and stuff. And just a fantastic band. And then they played, and I was like, damn, who is this? Because there's a lot of like out of state bands there, and I was just like, damn, who are these guys from, and why haven't I heard of them? And I find out they're just from Dallas, which in the grand scheme of Texas is just down the road from Austin. It's a 3-hour drive, but still, that's where I'm from. I'm not from Dallas. I'm from the west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but still in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, I wish I would have known these guys growing up. I'd have been in this band.
You should apply.
So yeah,
now.
that's
Let me in your
like
band.
I said.
I'm gonna be in your band now.
Yeah, sadly, like I said, their band is no more. I did get to book them with us. I did get to book them down here with us for their what ended up being their final show down here in Austin. So at least I got to kind of be around for that. Yeah, and I still love them. I mean, their 3 albums are still out there. I recommend anybody who wants to hear like a funny, catchy, really, really awesome sounding take on
my gaping butthole,
like essentially musical fan fiction about Street Fighter 2. It's the albums are called holy jeez.
Hey kids.
I'm so used to just calling them by the name that I don't.
Fuck.
You all right?
Yeah, someone followed. Thank you for the I can't see the thing. Thank you for whoever followed. And I went to wave and I punched my mic stand and I like scraped my knuckle the other day, and it is so raw. And I hit exactly on the sore part, and it's
Well, that was dumb.
It was dumb. Thanks for the raid, Sperry Berry.
No problem, bro.
How are you doing today?
Dude, I'm great compared to you now.
I'm blaming you for this.
Oh yeah, you can blame me for it. It's cool. I take credit.
Gotta give a shout out to Sperry Berry Crunch, who just rated us with 19 viewers.
That's me.
Sperry, if you're out there hanging out in chat, I wanna thank you for bringing your viewers in and having a good time. You remind me of this guy on the show called Andy Sperry. Andy, any relation?
Oh, dude, yeah. I actually know Sperry Bear Crunch. He's kind of an asshole, dude.
Are you his
Don't
brother's
interact
brother?
with that guy. Is he my brother? Is that what you said?
No, I said, is he your brother's brother?
Oh, he's my brother's brother's brother.
Whoa.
He is the brother
Is it
of
like
my brother.
through marriage? Because you're Sperry Berry and they're Sperry Berry Crunch. So is that like a hyphenated last name?
Yeah.
Hey kids.
It is, yeah.
They're
Berry Crunch
from the Berry Crunch family.
I was gonna say that's a fantastic hyphenation of 2 names. If so,
it's a triple marriage. And that's where the berry and the crunch comes from.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that let's say if 2 people, one with the last name Berry and one with the last name Crunch, were like, let's get married, and even better, let's hyphenate our names. Let's do it in the order of Berry Crunch and not Crunch Berry. That's
I hope somebody does that.
Yeah, that's like tops.
I pray every night that would happen.
Yeah.
Also, tops is the fact that Daddy Death and McKay are 9 both followed. Welcome to the SML family. You don't have to acknowledge us as family. A lot of people forget about us, but we thank you for being here. Saying hi. Welcome in. I wonder
Always
if
trying to pull in new
Crunch
people.
knows them.
He might. When I was a kid, I used to think that you got to choose your own last name when you got married. So I would often think about what my last name would be if I was married.
What would you want your name to be?
At the time, it was probably something like animal based or like dinosaur. I'd be like Andy T-Rex or something like that. Everybody would be like, "Whoa, that guy's cool."
My name's Andy Velociraptor.
Right? I could see a little me doing that. And then I found out you just keep your last name, and or everybody keeps their last name, or you change it based on who you marry. And I was like, oh, that's kind of lame.
Have you ever thought of being a real asshole with your kids and naming one of them like Cherry Sperry?
Dude, when I wanted to name my son Peter and have his middle name be Za, so I could call him Pizza. But that got vetoed. That got vetoed real quick.
Ashley and I always talked if we ever had a daughter, we were going to torture her by naming her Lisa Teresa Camisa.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty good.
LTC,
like Mario.
LTC in the house.
The princess from Bonk's Adventure is named Princess Za, so you could have said it's a tribute to your favorite game, Bonk's Adventure, on the TurboGrafx System 16. Just
that would have been great too.
You could have cheated your way into it.
It's true. Man, if I would have known that, I would have done it.
I keep telling people, be friends with me earlier in life.
Right? It's my fault.
I think one of my favorite kids' names is a family I spent a summer with in Arkansas, the Creech family. They were a big part of like the early 1UP Studios forums days. I hope they're doing well. I miss them a lot. They named their son Gannon.
Yeah,
cool.
I actually there was a guy at the high school I grew up near, because I didn't go to high school, so like that, if I say my high school or if I say like the high school or just high school, I mean this one that's like 15 miles away from where I grew up, but I had some friends there. And yeah, his name was Gannon. So apparently it's just a name.
Yeah.
He was born before. He was born for the, you might just know by my age, but not my voice. But that I'm saying that if this person was in high school at the time I was in high school, he would have been born well before there was a Legend of Zelda. Mm. So not Ganon.
Nintendo ripped off that family. That is some bullshit.
I have a relative 3 generations back named Zelma. So close. Very
nice.
Dang. Almost capitalized on that.
Oh.
Well, apparently Zelda is named after what's Zelda Fitzgerald? Is that what her name is? I gotta look it up now. So like another old-timey American name, basically. Yeah, Zelda Fitzgerald supposedly is the inspiration for Princess Zelda.
I have a question about Zelda for y'all, but I do want to, before we get too far into things, I want to welcome everyone to the second half of the show. Obviously, Chris, Pernell, Andy, and Aki are here. Quick thanks once again to Dmitry at RedBoon for coming on and chatting with us about Knock on the Coffin Lid. Aki, that was a good chat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I did very little, and it was great.
You did a lot.
You
and Bri.
Nope. It was Bri. Bri did everything.
Like, I was nervous as shit about this interview. I was like, I thought it was going to be
fair. I was in it.
I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck because I hadn't been able to play the game that much because of my arm. And the time I did spend with it, like the mental state I was in, everything was a blur. Nothing made sense to me. I couldn't do anything in the game. So I just resorted to basic, like, generic inspiration for the game. Tell us about the art style, what are you as a company? And Aki and Bri came in clutch with awesome game questions and conversation. It was an interview I thought would go 30 minutes and be horrible, went over an hour, and it was awesome. Wow. It was awesome. It was a great chat.
We did real good.
Yeah, I was really happy about that one. So,
what was that one about?
Knock on the Coffin Lid.
The game or the interview?
The game.
Basically, you can listen to it on the next show, I think.
Yep.
You guys are the worst.
Yeah, we are.
We're on the same
Anything
team.
for retention of viewers,
or you can listen to this episode when it releases and you can hear all about the game in an hour-long interview with Dmitry from RedBoon.
Oh, never mind. I know this game.
Oh, boy. Okay. Are we talking about Zelda now?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Back to the Zelda thing. What are your thoughts on the quote controversy about Hunter Schafer being thought of as a good Zelda actress?
I have to look her up. Oh, damn. She would be great.
It's like the most Zelda-looking person in the history of humankind would be a perfect fit for Zelda.
No, that's like, how did they get this lady? Whoa. No, no, that's like actually kind of amazing. Yeah, she definitely looks like a Zelda.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
no, I'd be.
Then there's the thing that the neckbeards, the incels, and the MAGAs don't like. Hunter is trans.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Question.
Anyway,
does anyone give a fuck what they think, feel, or care about? Because I know I sure shit don't.
No. Not
okay,
at all.
then there we go. So she should be the next Zelda.
She absolutely should. Like, she absolutely looks the part.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Let's just
I don't know anything about her acting prowess because I don't recognize who she is. But
yeah, me neither.
If the neckbeard's got to say something about it,
Euphoria.
Just tell him that Zelda, the character, is trans. That'll shut him up.
And I mean, it's not that far off. After all,
she's a video game. She could be whatever.
Not only that, but everyone, like, she's also that ninja, whatever the fuck the ninja's name is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. She is trans. So there you go. This perfect casting.
Sheikah.
Yeah, Sheikah. Thank you. I forgot the name. Yeah, that's perfect casting. Absolutely. Stamp of approval.
Yeah,
right.
I think she'd be great.
Okay, so now my thing about Zelda, if we can.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out the ridiculousness of Wikipedia right quick. Okay, so I had to Google Zelda Fitzgerald's name because I was like, okay, this famous author's wife, or I don't remember if they ever got married. Maybe they did. But yeah, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald, right? And yeah, I guess they got married because that's how she got that last name. Anyways, so I'm tired. So I was looking at Wikipedia. I was scanning through the entry for Zelda Fitzgerald, which is lengthy. She lived a very storied life, and you know, in her all too brief life, actually, you know, because she didn't make it past 47. Anyway, so legacy and influence. I always love these because this is just where anybody gets to write anything they want, right? In Wikipedia, even more so than usual, because it's like this is the spot where like people, or you know, in popular media is another section where people can just like vomit whatever they, you know, obscure thing they're interested in into the text, and if it has any tenuous connection to the original topic, then the editors usually leave it alone. So therefore I want to read you the fact that I was looking for. I thought that they would expand on it, but then the fact right after that is my favorite now. So these are the second and third facts in the legacy and influence section of Zelda Fitzgerald's Wikipedia entry. You could read it along with me if you want. Zelda's name served as inspiration for Princess Zelda, the eponymous character of the Legend of Zelda series of video games. Okay, that's, you know, no need to expand on that, I guess. There is some, there's like a slight citation here. But anyway, the very next fact is, in 2003, a wild turkey which roamed Battery Park in New York City was named Zelda due to a famous episode when, during one of her nervous breakdowns, she went missing and was found in Battery Park, apparently having walked several miles downtown. Okay.
Awesome.
So, really insanely popular, one of the most popular video game characters of all time. A random turkey from 22 years ago. Those are the
good.
legacies and influences. Numbers 2 and 3 of Zelda Fitzgerald. And anyway, I just love that. I love the turkey story is in there because why? Who cares? Why would anyone? And it's got 3 citations, by the way. No, I'm sorry, 2 citations. One's from an actual book. Oh no, there is 3 citations because one of the citations cites 2 sources. So yeah, this is a triply cited fact that there was a turkey once named Zelda because it walked several miles.
Wild.
Pause for laughter. That's all there is to it.
Wild turkey.
Yeah. And then, like, the 4th fact is that there is a museum that opened in Alabama named, the F. Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald Museum. Like, okay, a museum. That's, like, a thing. That's a real thing. It's got some of Zelda's paintings. She was a painter. It's like, they just... All the rest are, like, facts that actually matter. Like, that actually are, like, well, here's some stuff that's named after her that, like, is around now that you could go and visit. And, here's the Legend of Zelda. That's a very... prominent fact. I just don't see where the turkey falls in.
Well, it's named Zelda, so
it is named Zelda. I mean, yeah, it's the only other thing in the world besides a museum and a video game character. Anyway,
I love it.
I mean, Zelda Williams.
No, not mentioned. That's too. Maybe that would be in the actual Zelda the video game character's Wikipedia page, which I am now looking up.
That's Robin Williams' daughter.
Yes. I used to follow her on Twitter.
Yeah, we should probably say Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy Pride Month.
I am going to come out and say that I love and support all of my LGBTQIA. Is that... Did I get them all?
Or the second A at the end. And then
There's
a
2
plus.
A's now?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's complicated.
It is
love
getting
everyone.
complicated. It's like digits of pi to me. I remember LGBTQ. And then
I tend to just do LGBT
my brain
plus personally
forgets.
because but
a
lot of that's under the T umbrella anyway,
Yeah.
so I just tend to go LGBT plus just for everyone, just to be inclusive. I don't bother doing all of the different ones because it's hard to remember them all because there's been like 4 of them since I was a teenager, so it's like I'm not that smart.
Like, I think the LGBs are doing pretty okay, but the T's out there are who I'm worried about because of what's going on in the world. I'll be the first to admit I don't understand the decisions behind going trans because that's just not in my brain. But the good thing is that doesn't fucking matter because it's not my life. It's yours. So I'm here to support you, your decisions, and what makes you happy. I don't have to understand. No one else has to understand. The only thing that matters is you.
Here.
Well said.
That's how I feel about it. Like I'll always be scared of saying the wrong things, but it's never out of malice. It's just because I am legit stupid.
Yeah, and that's always tends to be forgiven because, saying the wrong thing out of stupidity is very different from saying the wrong thing out of you need to be punched in the face, which is where the problem always comes from, really, is the fact that some people need to be hit in the face and they don't get in the face very often.
It's just like a thing of just, just don't be there. Like, when is Sloth Month?
Well, considering that
good.
Americans exist all year long, I'm going to say constantly.
Right. Got Wrath.
Got him.
Got Wrath and Sloth. That's about all we got. And Gluttony.
Yeah.
Well, Gluttony is the holidays.
I
And
do
Pride.
love that I am already seeing people like Pride Month. When the fuck are they going to celebrate our military? And I love telling them last month. I thought you cared about our troops.
Yeah.
They get
yeah,
really
it's
red
always-
in the face.
Yeah. It's so funny.
I hate stupid people. I hate ignorant people. We need to love each other. Like, just support one another. What other
Except-
people do in their lives doesn't fucking matter to you. Focus on your goddamn self. Live your own best life.
Actually, asterisk. We can love everybody except the stupid people that hate everybody.
True.
Got no love in my heart
Yeah,
for them.
See, the problem is so many people think that their lives are going to be better if they tear down other people's because they realize, oh, these people have this thing and I don't, so I have to tear them down so they're at my level. That will make my life better. But it's like, no, that just keeps everyone in fucking squalor. Let
it's
them build
funny
their
that,
shit
like-
up and then be like, hey, help me build mine up too. And people, well, that's communities. They do it all the fucking time. But no, people just want to tear each other down. I don't get it.
I
don't
think
like-
the big difference is that MAGA hates people because of who they love. We
MAGA hates
hate
people.
MAGA because of who they hate.
MAGA hates people, just flat
cycle.
out. It's
Oh, they love certain people.
well, Nazis
A little too
aren't
much.
people. So no, they don't. They don't like certain people because those aren't people.
I know a lot
It's
of
just
them like
interesting to
sheep,
me
too.
how
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Sheep shaggers, a lot of them. It is what it is.
it's just interesting to me about how, like, the kind of bigotry that they espouse, like, goes against the tenets of capitalism. It's like they'll throw capitalism under the bus just to hate more people. Because when you have less people, you have less demand, therefore less supply, and therefore less economy.
Well, I mean, realistically speaking, they don't care about that because
No.
think about it. What is a good economy? Money flowing through. Who are all the people in the top? People who sit on money and keep it and hold it and don't ever fucking spend it. Clearly, they don't really truly care about the economy. They care about getting all the poor people's money in bad economies so that they have more money that they don't need because they're already sitting on hundreds of millions to many, many billions. So, yeah, no, they just want money. They're just dragons. And not even good ones. They're bad dragons. The ugly ones that no one wanted to buy.
I want Double Dragon.
Ooh. I'm into
There's a
that.
new one coming out this year, right?
Wait, what? Video game or movie? Because I just immediately
Video
associated
game,
that
of
with a
course.
movie.
I
Damn.
want a second movie, though.
So do I. I loved
Aki's
that
onto
first
something.
movie. It was fucking terrible. I fucking loved it. I ate that shit up.
How
Yeah,
is it
it was
that
a
I
great one.
say there's a new Double Dragon coming this year, and then instead of thinking, oh, it's the game series that they've literally made dozens of versions of, and instead go with, oh, it's a movie that they made one of in like 94.
About time they made
Because
another.
I watched the movie a lot. I've never played the games.
I watched.
Lord. But yeah, there's a
I like
a
the
new one
movie
coming out
enough.
this fall.
I liked the movie enough that I didn't even have to get told that the chairman of Iron Chef America is the guy who played one of the Lee brothers.
Okay,
Double
then.
Dragon Revive. Developed by Ukes and published by Arc System Works. Azzy. $34.99.
This looks sick.
Arc System
see
Works
it.
knows how to do fighting games, so nice.
Ukes are they're the team who did a lot of the older WWE games, the ones that got shittier over time, and they also did the AEW fighting game, which was fun but kind of shallow. So I'm hoping that this being like a level-based beat 'em up works better than a wrestling game.
We'll have to see. We will have to see. Hopefully.
Yeah. Looks to be coming October 23rd. There we go.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I'll get that shit. Fuck yeah. So, anyone play anything fun? Pernell, what have you been playing lately?
Man, I'm particularly great. Just, filling time here and there, and then, of course, doing review stuff. So nothing crazy.
Nothing tickling your fancy?
Not at the moment, no.
You excited for
that's a
Switch
shame.
2?
I got the pre-order in for it, so I'm sure it'll come through. And if it doesn't, well, I'll be on hold for getting it later. But it's pre-ordered, so.
Now, here's
So
the
I'm waiting
question.
on-
If you get it, are you going to open it and play it, or are you going to just leave it sit for a few weeks as you decide if you want to keep it or not?
Probably the latter, to be honest with you. It's just a typical thing it is. It'll be there.
I thought we were going to throw down in Mario Kart this coming weekend.
I'll be playing some Mario Kart this weekend. Let's go.
Sweet.
I'll get in on that. I think I got some time.
Let's do it.
Like how Thursday's
We'll see.
the Xbox show and Tuesday is the Switch 2 show.
I mean, it's fair. Might as well have a show for each console.
Like tomorrow
At least
and
the ones that
Thursday,
matter.
or the following Tuesday?
Hmm?
What?
You said Tuesday's the Nintendo show?
No, I'm like the Tuesday show lineup, SML show.
Oh, Tuesday
Yeah,
show
us
lineup.
group.
I got
Us
you.
as a group.
Oh,
Well, I just have nothing to say about Xbox is the problem.
Because you don't have one.
Last thing I played on Xbox was Arx Fatalis.
I should get you to watch the show with me on Sunday and do a watch along on Twitch. And be like, I
What's
don't
the
know what the
watch-
fuck any of this is.
Oh,
time
I'd probably be like,
is
I don't know, it's
the-
video games. I kind of get it.
What time is the closest one to us? Because I know there's two relatively close to each other. One on Sunday or some shit, and when's the other one?
Friday is the Summer Game Fest opening showcase that Jeff Keighley hosts, and that's going to be like the big one that covers all platforms and companies. There will be a few other showcases over the weekend. They have like a Future Friend showcase, or a Future Game showcase. Sorry about that. They have the Green Man Gaming showcase. I think Devolver's doing one again. And then Sunday, I believe it's at 1, I think 1 or 2. They are doing the Xbox showcase followed by the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, which will be like a full hour presentation on the Outer Worlds 2 coming out this fall.
sweet.
50.
I do plan to do
Yeah.
watch-alongs for the two big ones. So if anyone is bored and wants to jump into Discord and we can all watch along and stream on Twitch and chat and have a good time.
I'll show up.
I'll have to find out what I'm doing because I have a lot of busy things coming up.
She has.
You'll just have to
Jazzy.
remind me that you're about to go live, and I'll join. 'Cause I will not remember.
Switch
I don't
2
keep track of this stuff at all. I'm
hit me up.
terrible at this.
Nintendo-
Get us all up.
Nintendo warned Switch 2 owners not to peel off the screen's protective film.
Why not?
So
It's just
don't.
protective film.
I guess it makes it shatterproof. I don't know.
Hmm.
Oh,
thing
yeah,
is, can
that's
it be
what I was hearing.
replaced?
Because if the screen gets shattered, it keeps it from like actually shattering into pieces everywhere. It's like a kind of adhesive film to keep the glass intact.
Oh yeah, I'm still
Fair.
gonna be slapping a protective piece of glass over that. You know.
So glass to protect not glass. That's kind of glass. Okay. Cool. I approve.
Yeah. That's how it
Like
works.
an onion, it has layers.
Yeah.
So anyway, should we talk games? We only got a couple to go through tonight. Figure we could play soon pretty quick. Y'all want to do that?
Sure.
Sure. Let's do this.
Pernell, you ready?
Sure, let's go.
All right. First game, The Siege in the Sandfox, developed by Cardboard Sword, published by PLAION, released May 20th on Steam for $14.99. A 2D stealth Metroidvania, Pernell's favorite genre, with parkour platforming. Explore the majestic palace and ancient prisons of a kingdom under siege. Don the mantle of the legendary Sandfox as you venture into the ruins below and discover the true threat from sand-born evil. Pernell, what is The Siege in the Sandfox?
So in this game, you are playing as, like you mentioned earlier, the Sandfox, and you are being tasked with running through this very large expanse because on an initial mission to go and talk to your friend the king at the palace, you come in on his actual assassination by the queen. But being that she is the queen, she flexes her power, stabs you with a glass dagger, sentences you, well, rephrase this, she sentences you to death, essentially. Stabs you with a glass dagger and dumps you into what's called the Traitor's Pit or the Traitor's Fall Pit, and then walks off on you. And whereas you should have been dead, the fall didn't kill you. And now, as a result of that, you are now trying to escape from those pits in addition to essentially being like clearing your name. So that involves the reason why you're going through this wild and crazy exploration and hunt adventure or whatever.
What wild and
Now,
crazy kids? Sorry.
That was a good show. No, don't be. It was a good show.
Kid.
Me too. Alex Mack was a jam. So I'm not even going to go into the argument of it. I'm just going to say it. I don't consider this game to be a Metroidvania. It's an adventure platformer with stealth elements, and I'm sticking to it. But hey, the buzzword sells, so you knock yourselves out, developers.
How about this? How about the PC Gamer called it a Stealthvania? Does that work?
I guess so, because there's no castle. The question is just the Vania or whatever. Or there's no Metroid. After the event, it'd be more like Metroid than the other part, but whatever. Just go with Stealthvania. I don't know what the Vania even means in that, but it's very stealthy. Let's stick with that. Let's go.
I love the etymological breakdowns going on here.
Yeah, well, it made sense. Well, I'll go on into the weeds because I got a review to do. I mean, it makes sense. When it first got coined, it was very specific. It made total sense.
Yeah.
And then everybody just ran wild with it like freaking Hulkamania or whatever. It was just done.
Maybe this is kind of a foreign language or linguist like kind of jam, but like, so when you're discussing like the etymology of words, you're like, the way you're saying like, oh, it's a little bit of a Vania. There's not as much castle, castle and Vania having like two separate meanings, but depending on where they appear in a word, it's like from the Latin root, or from the Konami root, castle. Or
honestly, I want someone to do a crazy dissertation like that. It comes from the root, but like,
I would love it.
You were there. You know what it spawned from and what it represented when it spawned about. Like,
what are the declensions of the verb double jump?
Well, first you jump, and then you jump again before concluding your previous jump. Hence the double.
Would you call it if it was past tense, would you call it a doubled jump or double jumped?
I would say
these are the questions linguists must answer.
No, it's a double jumped. He double jumped. Doubled jump would imply that he doubled
but
one
he doubled
jump.
His jump. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yes. But every double jump is a double jump.
You see, this is the discussions I enjoy, and this is what I'm liking about this review so far.
This is what I came for.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm basically interrupting with a live in-time YouTube comment here. So,
hey, I'm not lying. I enjoyed it. And I will be honest before saying the things I didn't like about the game. I actually enjoyed playing The Siege in the Sandfox too. Just to knock that out the door so the developer's not like, wait a minute, this guy's trash. No, he is not. Because the game's mechanics are basically the mechanics to control your character are very fluid, though there are the occasional moments where I kind of find myself, like I'm dropping off of a ledge when I meant to grab and pull myself up. Weird stuff like that, but that could be user error for all I freaking know. But essentially, you're traversing these environments, and as you go about, you come across situations where people ask you to do different things, or you might get a task that you need to fulfill in order to move further into the environment that you're trying to explore. And your mobility by default is a simple matter of running and jumping. You can also grab ledges and pull yourself up, or kind of lean off the side and leap across. There have been a number of games that allow you to do stuff like that. Eventually, even though you start with it, you lose it early on, but you also get it back early on. You get the ability to run up walls, which I frankly love doing in this game. So you can basically go about a sprint, run straight up a wall, and then before you lose your momentum, leap off the wall to the adjacent wall, and then wall jump up to wherever you want to go, and then crawl into a vent. Like, there's a lot of cool little bits like that, and the game will make you use all of it. Oh my freaking God, you'll be doing it quite frequently. But you'll be using these mechanics to evade guards, just get further into environments, etc., etc. And as you progress through the game, you will eventually get additional abilities that will allow you to do more. Most notably is early on, of course, but the ability to knock a guard out. You'll be doing that frequently too. Though, unfortunately, if a guard sees a knocked out guard, their suspicion will rise and they will wake that guard up. So it's not particularly permanent, but you got to be mindful of who you smash and who you pass. And that's good there. So the things about this game I do enjoy is the fact that even though I can find myself getting a little lost in the shuffle, like, what the hell was I doing last? Or, where's my goal? Or the map will sometimes show you on the map, like a little icon saying you're trying to get to here. Like, okay, find my way there, just like any other, exploration game offers you to do. In which case, it's easy to find your way from to and fro. I like the fact that, again, the mobility is fluid. I like the fact that I never really felt like I came across a situation with guards that was insurmountable. It was usually, what the hell do these guys want? Sure, I'm going to do it. Though, I had to quickly get over the fact that you are meant to be, I don't think you're meant to be stealthy entirely. Like, sometimes you kind of got to let yourself be seen and just say, screw it, I'm outrun these jerks. I got to get to that hole over there. And as long as I get there, I don't care if they saw me. It took me a while to accept that, because for a while I was like, no, I got to be able to do this without being spotted. But if they do spot you and they catch you, they knock you out and arrest you, and the game is over. But then you can load up a nearby checkpoint to get right back to the action. It's usually not too far away unless you just ran stupidly off the beaten path and then try to progress through the route that the game intended for you to take, which I guess is very possible. But as long as you do something like that, not a big deal. The things I didn't particularly like about the game, one, fast travel is just way too spread out. I feel like you should be able to do fast travel a lot better, as in you should be able to have multiple spots on the map where you can click a location you can warp to. You should be able to just go there, just to save you some freaking time. Because there are a number of times I've played this game where either it's because I was trying to grab a little collectible, because there are a few collectibles in the game. I was trying to get a collectible, and it resulted in me, say, for example, falling off of a high ledge to a platform. Okay, I'm going to drop down. Now I'm down there, and I got the item. And now I'm thinking, how do I get back to where I came from? And the answer is, you can't. You got to run all the way down and around, but you got to figure out which way down and around is the most efficient down and around, because if you don't, you're going to waste even more time double backing from the double back because you forgot which way was the accurate way to get up to the place you just dropped down from. It can happen more frequently than you think. And it's annoying because if there's guards in the way or a traverse path that involved you having to be particularly stealthy, you got to do that again. And you can't use like load last checkpoint, because if you do, then it'd be like saying you never got the item that you dropped down to get in the first place. So
Question.
I do.
Since this is a stealth game, is there like stealth takedowns? Can you kill things stealthily, or is it just knock them out for a short while?
The latter is purely knocking them out. This guy is he's not a fatalist. He is all about getting the job done with as little bloodshed as possible. In fact,
they wake up on
you get
their
to knock.
own? Or do other people have to wake them up?
I think they sometimes can. And what I mean by that is I've had scenarios where like I thought I'd be double careful and I'd turn off a light nearby a guy that was knocked out, and not sure if it was because of timing or what, but in that scenario, the guy got back up. I was like, oh, damn it. There's been other times where I've just putzed around a room after knocking 3 guys out and they stayed down. So I don't know if there was just a thing where they just never got back up, or if it was just I got lucky. So I can't even give you a consistent answer. The best thing I can tell you is I think certain circumstances they can get up on their own, but typically another guard gets them up. So there have been
you just
times,
knock
for example,
everyone out, and then you don't have to worry about stealth anymore. Good.
No, because it's not perma-knock. So that's what I was leading towards. So if you went through a session, let's just say I played the way you're talking. I went through a session, beat the stuffing out of everybody, except the guards you can't knock out because they're wearing helmets. But I knocked everybody out. Went to like 3 areas later, dropped down that pit I described. I was like, crap, now I got to double back. It resets everybody. They're all back up. They're all moving around. There's no indication that they know you've been there because, again, they've been purely reset and you got to do the whole section again unless by some miracle there was a shortcut you were able to open up by like pulling a lever to open a door or something in that section. But otherwise, you're doing the same evasions, the same hide behind the logs, the same knocking people out, all of it. So you just got to be prepared for that sort of thing. Now, maybe if you find yourself not giving 2 hoots magoots about the collectibles, you might be able to evade more of that. But at the same time, there might be sections where you might be trying to get across a rooftop section that you had to climb up to. You miss a grab, you fall down to the lower section, then you had to circle back around to get back up there to try it again. There's like things like that happen. And I know for a fact in this community from being on Reddit and talking to people about games, about what's your favorite, Metroidvanias. There are a lot of dialogues where people will complain about situations where their time isn't being respected because they have to repeat sections without being able to just like kind of warp traverse back and forth to get out of it. At least let me drop in the hole, get the thing, and then warp back to a safe spot because I did the thing I wanted to do to get the specific item. So with that said, though,
the pain in your voice when you say Metroidvania.
Because
like
it's extremely
it steals
painful.
your soul every time you say it.
Because it does. I'm pretty sure somebody made a deal with Satan, and Satan was like, let's fuck this guy up. Let's give him Metroidvania for the rest of his goddamn life. And then just completely just destroy the definition of it. Just mean literally anything that involves a large map that you can run through. It's a big map, and you're not in it. But yeah, it's a fun game, though. Like I said, it's just my gripe was mainly about, and also I guess, though this didn't ruin the game, it just made me picture it a different way, which in this regard, I think the terminology of Metroidvania would hurt it. It's the fact that lots of times when people play games of that caliber or that stature, one of the things they most look forward to is getting more weapons and more upgrades for your character or whatever. And while there are items you get that expand the abilities of your thief, the game still mainly flows more like almost like they took Prince of Persia and said, what if we made it linear, but occasionally made you do a circle to get to the next level? And I'm sure somebody's hearing this and going, well, a lot of Metroidvanias do that too. I'm like, well, yeah, but they feel different because you feel like you're finding cool shit along the way. Energy tanks, art containers, bullets, new guns, all kinds of stuff. It's not just the world traversal stuff. There's other things you get that make you feel like you're finding cool shit. Again, that's what the term really means. But if you take it and instead of going, this is a Metroidvania, instead you go, this is a really cool action platformer where I'm exploring a map to break into this castle and find these people and these things. And occasionally I can move around differently, or maybe I can knock dudes out. You might find yourself appreciating it in a different way. Or maybe you're not me, you don't give 2 shits about the term, and you just want to play a cool fucking game. And if that's you, and you don't care about the scenarios where you might have to double back when you didn't want to, and you don't hate the fact that the game is primarily stealth and you are not murdering anybody, I genuinely do believe you will have fun with this game. The only times I've ever come across any weird, like, potential thought of annoyance that could have been a glitch has been situations where maybe I disrupted a guard's rotation and they were kind of like having a conversation. And I was like, why the hell are they having this conversation there? Can't they get the hell out of the way so I can just start moving again? And then 2 scenarios occurred in this situation. One, I said, screw it. I'm going to double back a little bit, see if they'll reset by me going like 1 screen over. And that generally works. The alternative thing that has been the case when that didn't work was I rethought the freaking puzzle and realized, I just need to kind of get past them and run up this freaking wall before they catch me after they see me. And that got the job done too. So I don't want to come at it and claim, glitches and stuff because I didn't experience anything that couldn't have been resolved by me just, doing something different. But that's also potentially me playing after a game getting patched. So I don't know, but I do think the game is fun. It's all about how you come at it.
All right, well, it's $15. Give me a verdict.
I think it's a buy it. I should say it's a try it, but a buy if they change the genre, but I'm not going to be a dick. It's a buy it.
Oh, what about a stealth droid?
Why does it have to have any of that? It's a stealth adventure game. Why does it need any of that? It needs none of it at all.
Droid.
Fox droid. That's like calling every behind the back shmup Harrier like. Let's do that now. Let's play some fucking Harrier likes. Star Fox isn't Star Fox. It's a fucking Harrier like. Let's just stop. It's just dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my god.
Man.
Kid Chameleon is a Mario like.
I'm over here being like, oh damn, I could play some Battle of 3D World Runner.
Well, speaking of Mario likes, moving on. Next game, PaperKlay, developed and published by WhyKev, released May 27th on Steam for $14.99. PaperKlay is a 3D platformer collectathon where you open, unfold, and rotate your way through a world made out of cardboard, paper, clay, and other handcrafted materials. Andy, tell us about PaperKlay.
Well, I actually think PaperKlay is more of like a Banjo-Kazooie type game than a Mario one. So if we're getting real technical on this one, but anyway, jokes over. We move past that. Anyway, PaperKlay, I would say, is the newest addition to the world of 3D platforming collectathon games. If you're looking for that classic, as I mentioned, Banjo-Kazooie, I don't know if as many people are familiar with like ukulele style gameplay. This is the one to get. This game is actually featuring the composer from Banjo-Kazooie, and has I think it has one of the voice actors from Sly Cooper as well too. Which is pretty cool. In PaperKlay, you'll play as Chick and Nugget, two friends out on an adventure to save the stolen eggs from the evil Nox the Fox. Classic naming. You'll traverse a 3D world made entirely out of crafting supplies. I feel like the design team did a really good job. Just like bringing the whole thing to life. There's lots of vibrant colors across different worlds and biomes and levels. You really start kind of noticing the fine details in like cardboard platforms and like popsicle stick ramps and like buttons and paper and scissors and clay and all kind of other like crafting elements in this game. Every world has their own kind of unique.
God damn you.
Unique flair. I put it in just so we can all do that too. I love it. Unique. Each has its own unique flair and theme within its main hubs, from Pinecone Village, Frog Cove, Yarn Tower, and Skull Island. There are generally about 5 to 6 different levels that are featured in each hub world, which all have their own platforming challenges and puzzles to solve. In order to obtain all the collectibles within each level. Hub worlds have their own challenges to complete and also have collectibles to grab too. In one world, you're solving a clock puzzle for a mouse. Another world, you're searching for a long-lost guitar. Another one, you're talking to an old frog and taking him around to eat flies because he's too grumpy and cridgety to do it himself. It's full of wacky characters, full of fun challenges, and like I said, all the characters are fully voice acted as well too, which just makes it a little bit more charming too. Some collectibles include buttons, which kind of act as a currency in some cases. I'll get to that later, but are hidden throughout the levels. Buttons also you would consider like a coin. They're golden buttons, so they're basically coins. They kind of mark out pathways. The levels aren't necessarily linear, but they're, I would say, like half linear. You know, you have to go to some areas to unlock other areas, but there's not like free roam explore. Some of them are hidden inside boxes. Some of them are hidden behind walls. Levels themselves have alternate pathways. You can flip levels back and around and upside down and this way and that way, which is really neat. And then stuff is hidden all over levels too. So sometimes you'll have to flip a platform around a couple of times to find, I don't know, a collectible that may or may not have been visible or possible to reach before. I tried to do 100% on a lot of the levels, but I got to a point where I was like missing one, and that's just kind of frustrating. I don't know if I like left it in a box or something, but they're hidden pretty well, and I like collectible games, so I would say you know, you got to really like kind of dig for some of these too. You use the buttons to grab new outfits. There's only like 4 outfits, and they're all kind of themed based on what hub world you're in. For Chicken Nugget, there are also orbs, which I honestly was not sure what they did in the game. They're just kind of shiny blue orbs that random characters will give you for solving puzzles, and I had quite a few of them, but I never used them for anything, so that was cool. There's eggs, which appear at the end of every level. They're needed to progress through the story itself. Like you have to collect X amount of eggs to move on. And you're interacting with like an owl or a whale or a couple of guys in a pirate ship that will take you to the next area. They just need eggs. Stat upgrades are also available in the game too, and they come in form of unlockable badges that require both a certain amount of eggs gathered, as well as buttons to buy them. There are 2 health upgrades. There is a mid-air attack, a glider upgrade, a magnet which pulls buttons towards your character, and an upgraded ground pound jump thing. Along with your main movement controls, left, right, up, down, A, B, start, you'll have a double jump. That is where you jump, and then once you finish that jump, you jump again, as told by Pernell earlier. You have a regular ground pound, which can trigger parts of a level. Usually there's like buttons on the ground, or there's enemies on the ground, and you can ground pound into them. There's also your glider, which allows you to sail around for a short time across gaps, sail to other platforms. There's rings that are set up through levels as well too. So occasionally you'll have to hit a ground pound trigger button, fly through a bunch of rings, gather a bunch of orbs or buttons or whatever it is. One of the cooler aspects of the game that kind of set things apart a little bit was the difference in level design. Not just the theme itself, but once in every hub world there was a nugget only level. If you've ever played Toad Treasure Tracker game, it was kind of similar to that, where you have almost this kind of pieced together cardboard box with different dangerous objects kind of floating around on it, and Nugget, which is the little chick, has to traverse and gather buttons and kind of flip the boxes around as he's walking around it. It's like a big 3D platforming thing, you know. I don't know, it's really cool. Like I said, if you know Treasure Tracker games, that's the best I can kind of describe it as too. The platforms move, there's obstacles, there's buttons, there's orbs to collect, there's eggs at the end too. I really wish there was more of those types of levels, because it was just kind of a nice like change of pace between everything else too. But yeah, I mean the rest of the levels were pretty fun too. PaperKlay as a whole didn't really feel super hard or stressful compared to some other collectathons. Banjo-Kazooie always gets me. Spyro is not super hard game, you know, but I would consider that another collectathon that is a little bit more difficult than this. It's got a really cozy atmosphere with like more challenging aspects, I would say. The levels kind of like have this unfolding feel. I mean, everything is very like crafting table. So You're unlocking parts of the level. You're like changing things around, like I mentioned earlier, to kind of show off other aspects of the world you're in, which I thought was really enjoyable. Enemies are easily dealt with. The most damage I received in the game was from like rotating spike arms. And there wasn't really a lot that I didn't like about the game. I think collectathons in general get kind of repetitive, but in this case, there was enough change in scenery and puzzles that kind of counteracted that. Overall, though, it felt like a nice mix of adventure. It was a very creative feel. The characters and challenges felt fun. Great soundtrack. I had a really good time with this one.
I'm going to add a little weight to your review.
Go for it, Dan. Go for it.
I bought this game, but I haven't played it yet because Joe told me you're reviewing it, and I'm waiting on beta to determine if I'm returning it or not.
Yeah. Are you still thinking about returning it, or are you going to play it?
I'm waiting for that verdict, sir.
This is a.
Pernell, you get to ask the verdict. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do it.
Go it.
So for the game PaperKlay at the price that I don't remember, it was $15, I think.
Yep.
What is your verdict?
$15 and $13.49 with 10% off right now. I would say go for it. I would say buy it. I love collectathons, and I had a really good time with this one.
All right, then you just made yourself a retained purchase.
Yeah. I think you're gonna like it, especially at $15. You know, I played through Banjo-Kazooie. I played through all the Spyros recently. Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Just heads
you
up to
tell
the
me what your review is.
The sale ends in 14 hours, so you're probably gonna have to pay $15 for it.
Unless you buy it right
you gone did fucked up because you didn't watch us live. Tisk.
Yeah, jerks. But yeah, Pernell, tell me what you think about it when you play it, man. I want to hear your review on it.
Sure, I can do that.
Pernell, tell us about PaperKlay.
Well, you see, that game I played in the last 34 seconds was phenomenal, man. The upgrades, the paper, the clay. It molded me a whole new existence. It was worth every second of it. And I mean second. That's how much time it got.
Nailed it.
All right, moving on. I got to edit this, but everyone say hi to Big Adam.
Big Adam,
Big
what
Adam.
up?
Hi, Big Adam. Hi, buddy.
Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody?
Welcome in, Adam. Good to have you here. You're here to talk about a game, aren't you?
I am.
Should we dive in there? Or is there anything you want to chat? Any wrestling you want to talk about?
Wrestling. Yeah, Tony Khan's currently on a cocaine bender of booking, and I would like his drug man to get an immediate double pay raise.
Agreed.
That's all I got for wrestling, I think.
Yeah. I'm excited. The show usually goes up Wednesday nights. I usually get it up and edited right before Dynamite. And if anyone's listening this when it just goes live, help. We're in the middle of 4 fucking hours of wrestling. Please.
Well, that's true.
Send refreshments. Order us a pizza.
We're gonna need pizza and Kool-Aid. Stat.
Fucking Fighter Fest 4-hour event this week on a Wednesday.
Should be quite good, actually. The card looks really good.
Oh, it looks insane. So yeah, speaking of good things, should we talk about your game?
Sure. I've been playing a bunch of Expedition 33. That game is fantastic.
It
oh wait,
so good.
You meant review time. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, review time. Understood. Let's get after it.
All right, let's rock. Warhammer 40K Speed Freaks, developed by Caged Element, published by Wired Productions, released to 1.0 May 22nd on Steam for $19.99. Blaze into high octane mayhem of clashing speed mobs with adrenaline-fueled combat racing through the brutal Warhammer 40K universe. Drive ramshackle vehicles loaded with bombastic weapons and powerful abilities in a breakneck, full throttle speed. Adam, what's Speed Freaks?
So that's actually a really good question, because I was kind of wondering the same thing myself after having played it. The game struggles with its own identity. And that's I think I now understand what they were going for in kind of like a Twisted Metal car combat centric kind of thing. But what they have actually, like, in my opinion, advertised is not this game. And it sucks because all of like the demo material and the video material that we saw for this game, or that I saw for this game, was like Warhammer Speed Freaks. And I'm like, oh, sick, a Warhammer racing game. All of the advertisements are like, oh, you're going to go so fast and speed and get ready to go full throttle and get ready to rip and race. And it's like, racing is maybe 5% of the content of this video game. And that's crazy to me. I feel like there is this game. So, okay. Let's do this in two different areas. I'm gonna do the knockdown first, and then we're gonna end it with the build up. Again, the game suffers because it doesn't understand its own identity. I think this game, probably what happened, at least in development, is they suffered from a shit ton of feature creep, and then it shifted from being a racing game to it being a car combat game. The way this game is delivered to the player is incredibly akin to a free-to-play game, as there is no story mode. There is a single-player mode where you can just load into one of the two different game modes and play with a bunch of bots. You can do a free roam mode where you can like look around and queue up a race with friends. Or you could do one of the, designed kind of like race events that they have, or one of the like hunt down the big monster guy on the other team and try to blow him up with the bombs mode that I've literally already forgotten the name of. And that leads me into my second point, is while this game is struggling for its identity, they tried to put goofy orc nicknames on literally tons of different things within the game. So, like, you don't get kills or you don't get knockouts, you get crumps. Whatever the hell that is. They're, like, the game modes are everything's written in, like, quote-unquote orc, which kind of makes the game hard to follow. And again, there is no story mode. So you're put into a menu like you would a free-to-play game, a la like Fortnite or something like that. Your character's on the screen doing their, little animation because they're in a menu. And you have like play settings loadout at the top like you would a Call of Duty or a Fortnite game. And then you go into one of the two different game modes. And like I said, there's the one game mode it's basically two different teams that are going at one another. They each have like a big walking robot that is walking towards the finish line. And the goal is for your robot to get to the finish line first. And the way you slow the other team's robot down is by going to where the bombs are dropped onto the map, fighting with other players to have control of the bombs, and then taking it to their tower to get the bomb to go off, which stops the progress of the giant walking robot, and rinse and repeat.
The Stompa.
The Stompa. Right. And the other mode is everybody drops into an arena, and it's like checkpoint racing, but you don't have to be at the starting line to start the race. I joined a server, and this happened to me 3 times. I would join a server, I would have to drive to where the starting line of the race would be, but that countdown had already started by the time I had connected. So then I was just beelining for the first checkpoint, And then I hit the second checkpoint, and by that time, I realized that it didn't matter that I didn't start the race with anybody else, because no one else was racing. Everyone else was just driving around trying to blow each other up. So I literally was the only one going from checkpoint to checkpoint, and I literally won the race, and I got first place in the race. But, like, that was because I was the only one in the server doing the objective, which was to get to the checkpoints.
Yeah.
And it was just a bummer because, like I said, with the name of Speed Freaks and with the advertising all being so fast paced and with the cars and them going and all this, that, and the other, you would really hope that this game really cared more about being a racing game, or at least I did. I mean, I could be very, very, very in the minority on that, but that's at least how I felt about it. And the other problem that this game suffers from is the 3 times that I've logged in now, I have never once seen more than 25 players online. And that's a massive problem for a game that is entirely online based, other than bot modes. Because bot modes are fine, they're great, they're whatever for practicing something. But if you're going to have a single player game that costs money to buy up front instead of doing a free-to-play base with microtransactions, you have to add some kind of single-player content that is not just bot characters.
Yeah.
That's not worth the price of admission, in my opinion.
Yeah, the funny thing you mentioned with free-to-play is the game through early access was free-to-play. One of the bullet
that's
points,
very apparent. Yeah,
one of the bullet points on the Steam page says we've moved away from the free-to-play model to instead list the game with a low price with a wealth of content, including over 150 items to unlock. Previously, most of the items were behind a paywall needing to be purchased. This new version of the game better aligns with both our overall design and community values. We're very happy with this change and are excited to put it in players' hands. The way you're making it seem is that the overall design doesn't seem to align with the model now. Like, it seems like their design was free to play, and
it still feels incredibly similar to a free-to-play game. And I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that the DLC packs that are currently available for this game are cosmetic in nature. So again, it still feels like a Fortnite situation. You know what I mean? There's like past an intro movie. There's no game tutorial. There's not. You have to load into a match, and then it gives you the controls of the game as help hints, like tooltip pop-ups, as a real online game is happening. Which, just my opinion, that's chaos mode.
Yeah.
Like, I got to be honest, I'm really disappointed with this game. There's no way that I could recommend somebody pay for this, because this is a free-to-play game where they decided to give you all of the cosmetics for $15, and you have to own the cosmetics to play the game. And I think that's a bummer. I think that's a huge lost or dropped ball or lost opportunity.
Yeah, that sounds right. We should talk about the price. Unfortunately, it's not a $15 game. It is a $20 game. What are your thoughts on this game?
They need to put a actual single player mode into this game, and they need to develop a tutorial for said single player mode of this game if they want to sell this style of game for $20. Yeah. Right now, what they have done is taken a free-to-play game and forced all of the people that would like to play said free-to-play game to buy all of their skins, basically, and all of like the customizable stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think they put a ton of money into microtransactions thinking that was going to carry the game with the name Warhammer attached to it. And it's it's just a quirky free-to-play car combat game that happens to have the Warhammer name on it.
Yeah. I was checking the Steam charts since you mentioned the online play count. It shows right now, this is amazing, by the way, for our show, this is amazing, 69 players.
Nice.
Make a joke, Matt.
That's
a sex joke.
Yay.
Jokes about penises and vaginas. Yay.
Yay. That I didn't even see Matt come in. That's amazing.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. That's incredible. It's I really feel like they were banging off the Warhammer name, really drawing them in, and that number 69. You got to remember, while it is a funny number, that includes private servers that you can't get into from the server browser unless you know the information about it.
And people doing bot matches.
Right.
So there's only a fraction of those people actually playing public games. And the 24-hour peak, 111.
Oh,
Yikes.
no.
Yeah. I'm checking before they went free to or before they went paid, before the May relaunch, they were still hovering around like 40 to 50 people max. They had a boost when it went paid, up to about 300.
Woof.
That's terrible for a Warhammer product. That's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bad for any video game launch.
Well,
I mean, I know high school seniors that have put out like final projects that have gotten more downloads than that. Are you fucking kidding me?
That is heartbreaking because, you know, so many people put work into these games, and always a bummer when they don't take off. But we got to be honest about the product and what's there, and a big component of this game is a player base, and it's just not there. So, official verdict at $20.
Can't recommend.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for coming on and chatting about Speed Freaks. We're going to let you get going. Do you have any final words?
Pray for our souls tomorrow evening during the 4-hour lock-in.
Matt, any final words?
I'm not here. I never showed up. None of this ever happened.
Bye, Adam.
Bye, Adam. That was fun.
Later,
Wasn't that great having Adam here?
It was phenomenal. I wasn't sure he was going to show up, and then bam, he just arrived and did all that crazy shit.
It's just such a good time. I'm glad that everyone else was able to just like keep quiet during his review and let him do what he needed to do. I know he gets shy sometimes, and you know, the pressure and, you know, all that. So
I just fell asleep.
that's well, it's good you're away. It's good you're away, because the next game to talk about is Starlight Legacy, developed by Decafésoft and eastasiasoft, published by eastasiasoft, released May 28th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $12.99. Return to the style of 16-bit JRPGs in Starlight Legacy, non-linear adventure inspired by genre classics. Set in a post-medieval world in the Euphoric kingdom, explore a vast kingdom created with lush 2D pixel art, nostalgic turn-based battle system, and non-linear story where the 4 provinces of the kingdom can be explored in any order of your choosing. Chris, this isn't Chemco.
No, it's not. It's not even my first time reviewing this game. So I reviewed it. What?
I'm coughing mid-sentence. Well, how is it?
Well, yeah. So eagle-eyed, eared viewers, listeners will remember that. They won't remember, but I reviewed the Steam copy of this back in February. So. But yeah, I'll go ahead and recap just in case, you don't have my previous review memorized.
If I remember just enough, I believe you said you enjoyed it enough that you wanted it on Switch.
You know what is funny? I actually went back and listened to that review, and I usually say things like that, and I didn't this time. I don't know why, because that is what I thought of it. Maybe I just rushed through these things because I don't write them down. But, yeah, it is on Switch, and I'm very happy about that because I did like this game quite a lot. So yes, this is a not Chemco. In fact, it is eastasiasoft, who they do some RPGs sometimes. They usually do like good kind of arcade and action games and stuff like that. But yeah, you do get the occasional RPG out of them. Isn't Cthulhu Saves Christmas? Isn't that one of theirs?
I'm not too sure. eastasiasoft is more the publisher. They just help with the porting. The game itself was made by Decafésoft. I will look down.
Right. Well, I know Zaboyd made Cthulhu Saves Christmas. I just don't remember who put it out. Oh, Limited Run. I misspoke. All right. Well, I trust Joe's going to edit that out.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what this is this is a 16-bit RPG, specifically hearkening back to about the 1992 and 1993 kind of era. It has, 3 characters that you play as, Ignis, Terrell, and Frida. They're red hair, blue hair, and green haired, respectively, so, good JRPG protagonists. Protagoni. Again, we're discussing, linguistics here, but yeah, they go on an adventure to basically save the world tree from an evil interloper. They are given the task by like the king, who is kind of suspicious, but he basically the way that the kind of system works for the 4 continents, I suppose they're continents, that are kind of linked together by this one kingdom. There's kind of 4 quadrants to the world, essentially. Each one is connected by a bridge, which is locked with a key, and you can have 1 key at a time. So, therefore, you kind of choose which direction you want to go into, and you're just kind of locked into that direction until you basically get to the point where you get another key, and then you can explore another direction. Eventually, you actually do get to fly around on a big 3D world Mode 7 map. So that's actually pretty cool. This game actually does use like some... I don't know if it's actual Mode 7, but it definitely looks like it. It's... If you don't
As someone
remember
who's a herp derp, what the fuck is a Mode 7 map?
That was exactly what I was going to say. So... Us oldsters,
for your wonderful word choice.
We're doing all kinds of language today. So yeah, if you didn't know, and this is relevant to this review, so this isn't strictly an aside. In the 16-bit era, specifically on the Super Nintendo, there was a thing called Mode 7, which used a specific layer of the graphics processing to essentially make a kind of flat image that could scale and rotate, and it would cause like some weird dithering on the screens. But basically, if you ever looked at the game F-Zero, that's the best example of Mode 7. The way they got the 3D tracks on that game, the original Super Nintendo game, is through use of Mode 7. It was also used in Pilot Wings, Mario Kart, all 3 of the Final Fantasies, and also freely flying around in a Mode 7 space was a feature of Secret of Mana, which is what this will remind you of, kind of thing. So yeah, basically anytime there was like 3D effects on the Super Nintendo where the screen, where a part, the background or whatever would scale and rotate, but kind of still remain flat. Like if you looked at a town in Mode 7, it would still be like this flat picture of a town. It's just that, it would be tilted to where it looked 3D. So that's what Mode 7 was. And of course, as of the N64 and PlayStation era, that became obsolete as things became more polygonal. So they could actually have, a real kind of 3D space. So it was just their way of kind of faking it back then. And Super Nintendo could do it. Genesis had like a different thing they did. So Mode 7 is really associated with specifically Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance, because Game Boy Advance used it as well. So there you go. This game uses it. And apart from that, it is very reminiscent of 16-bit RPGs. You got your little small chibi guys that run around the map. You can actually run too. Like, there is a run button that you can toggle to be permanently on, which is very nice. This game does have nice features, such as just if you just want to double your experience points, go ahead. Just like kind of like the Pixel Remaster Final Fantasies let you. You can also turn encounters off. So if you are getting tired of running into a battle every few steps, which will happen with encounters on, just turn that stuff off and enjoy. The kind of cool features about this RPG, of course, you talk to townspeople, buy things. You can kind of customize your characters in that you can purchase for them equipment that will make them physically weaker but magically stronger, or magically weaker and physically stronger. You can also customize their spell set. You assign spells to specific face buttons that you will use in battle. You can choose whether you want this to be more on the right hand or more on the left hand, whether you want the face buttons to represent spells. So like X is your fire spell, Y is your ice spell, A is your restore spell, or if you want that to be like up, down, left, right on the D-pad kind of thing. So the choice is yours. And then it's also got things like you can summon monsters that you've defeated with Frida, who I have mentioned in my previous review. I found it funny that she is a green-haired summoner that does not start with fire in her list of spells, because that seemed like a reference to me. But the actual character is nothing like Rydia from Final Fantasy IV, which is what I'm referring to the Final Fantasy eggheads out there. But anyways, yeah, so this is the thing I like about this game as well is, besides the kind of customization of the characters, is that the towns and sort of action areas are stitched together in such a way that you actually move fluidly between them. This isn't one of those where you advance the screen like every game, like when you enter a town icon, right? The scene changes and now you're in the town. Well, in this one, when you walk out of the town and go onto the forest, then you're in the forest. It just smoothly scrolls up into the forest, changes the background music, and now you got encounters and stuff. And that happens for every area of the game. There's besides like entering buildings and things like that, like the scene doesn't actually change. It's all smoothly stitched together, which is something you rarely see in any video game that's not like, even like modern like Skyrim and stuff like that, or games like that will have a load screen between like a town gate, right? So this game doesn't do that, and I really appreciate that about it. Also, really good soundtrack. Like I said, the story is it's very much doesn't want to waste your time. You're not gonna stick around and have a bunch of drama. In fact, this time around, I picked different places to go than my Steam review. I went to Frida's hometown, which in the events of the game is kind of frozen over, and due to a spell, all the people have been turned into ice cubes. But what I like about it is that they're just people that are in ice cubes that you can still talk to. So they're just like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm in an ice cube. This kind of sucks, but, I can't move or anything. But they're like just still fine. And then you can talk to Frida's mom, who's like, oh, Frida, as you can see, I am stuck in an ice cube, so I can't really do much, but I'm glad you're fine. Like just this kind of lack of really heady drama or anything like that at least in what I've experienced. It really is just kind of like you just go to the four quadrants, kind of experience the events there, and then just move on to the next one until done. But yeah, I didn't get all the way done with this one though, so maybe there's some twists and turns and surprises, and who knows, maybe there's some great tragedy or something. Either way, I'm excited to find out because this game's really fun to play.
All right, well, it's $13. What do you think?
I think that's great. That's actually less expensive than the first time I reviewed it. So that's awesome. I guess it's kind of gotten a discount everywhere. And plus, I think it's got like a launch discount or something. Maybe I should check that.
On Xbox, I know for the next 9 days at least, they've $260 and get it for $10.39.
Yeah, this is absolutely an RPG worth $10 of your time and money. I don't know what $10 to equals in money. I guess 2 hours if you're working minimum wage.
And the good thing, at least on Xbox, it's a play anywhere game. So you get the Xbox One, Series, and PC all for one price. No stacks here.
Oh la la!
Get the game, and you can play it on console and PC.
Yeah, and but I reviewed it on Switch, which is where I played it. So which means I can play it on my Switch or on my TV.
Or your Switch 2.
Or my Switch 2, apparently. Which I don't know. I don't have my Switch 2 yet. But this is a really cool game. A lot of care went into it. I say it's worth your money. Go ahead and check it out, please.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. One final game to talk about on this episode, Missing Banban, developed by Euphoric Brothers and Simon Carny, published by Feardemic, released May 29th, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $9.99. Your friend went missing and a dark force is looming in this already deranged world. You, Sheriff Toadster, are the only Toad that can save him in intense action-packed side-scroller adventure. Oh, it's a side-scroller this time? Jump around, shoot your way through, and investigate the mysterious disappearance, all while exploring the land and meeting the intriguing characters of this universe. Aki, you don't have to go first person through a little playhouse school anymore. So, is this an improvement?
Honestly, for most of the game, yes. And then they, take a giant shit at the very end. But for most of the game, yeah. This is a side-scrolling shooter platform. You play as the Sheriff Toadster. He's a giant butt-ugly toad that is a sheriff. He's one of the monstrosities of this place. And he's trying to find Banban, who has gone missing. Hence the name, in case you didn't figure that out. Missing Banban. The trickster guy, the comedian, and the big bad of the main games joined forces to bring laughter and smiles back to the kingdom by being dickheads. And that's supposed to work somehow. I don't really understand where their thought processes are, but they're not particularly smart creatures, so fair. They're turning people evil, and they're sending you into the way to go and fight the other evil mascot things that you're familiar with from the main games. And you are side-scrolling and shooting the shit out of things. You gain coins that you can use later to buy upgrades to either your health, your energy, or even getting new power-ups that you can use whenever you fill up the energy bar. You also find some specialty little coins that allow you to buy costumes, so you can play as other characters if you so want, which is really nice. There's an achievement for getting all of that shit that I just mentioned. And there's, I think, 6 worlds in total, and a bunch of levels between them. There are some hidden areas where you can find some of the badges that are required to buy the costumes. There are some other hidden areas where you can find items to get a secret ending, which is also required for an achievement, and I fucked that up. Oh well, I'll have to replay it again. Most of the levels are pretty simple, pretty nice. I actually enjoyed my time with one of these games for once, which is pretty nice. However, the last level leaves quite a bit to be desired. It decides to give you a really nice gun, a gun that moves you in the direction opposite of the bullet because it's so strong, and you are expected to use it to platform. very precision-y through a whole bunch of spikes and enemies that are attacking you. So you have to keep yourself from falling onto spikes, shoot the enemies while in the air before you fall and hit the spikes or get hit by them, and so on and so forth. The last level ruined the game, and it made me so sad because there's not a checkpoint for some time into it, and you're likely just going to have to restart the level, like, I don't know, a few dozen times before maybe you get yeah. Like, I was actually enjoying the game so much, and then World 6 happened, and I was like, well, okay, fuck me then, I guess. I'm done having fun with this game. Like, I could not beat that. I sat there for hours trying to get through it, and I never got through the first section. After you get through the first section, it seems like it gets okay again, but that first section is just... It's like they were like, you know, we really want to just show people that we can make a hard game, so let's just make this as hard as balls for everybody. What? No. Bad. No. Someone should have grabbed a rolled up newspaper and smacked him in the head before they put that in the game. But before that, it was amazing. I was having so much fun, which is really odd for me to say because most of these games are very mediocre, or I just outright don't particularly like them at all. So, like, this was so awesome. And then that level, and it was like, we're doing so well. But, yeah, you basically, you fight against everybody. They all have their own little worlds. They have their own enemies. Lots of the enemies are very similar between them. For instance, like the first world, there's, like, snails that are going around. And if the snail sees you, it'll pull itself into its shell, and the shell will go flying at you at high speeds, kind of like Sonic. In the last world, you get snails, and they do the exact same thing, except for they're also shooting a whole bunch of green balls out that damage you if they hit you. You know, stuff like that. You know, one of the worlds has a bunch of frogs and things like that in it that hop around and try to step on you. Things like that. All the bosses were pretty different from each other. For instance, there was a fight against Stinger Flynn, which is a giant octopus. And you fight him. His whole level, most of it is underwater. Thankfully, because you're a monstrosity, none of you need to breathe. So, woohoo! No Sonic, time running out noises. Thank God. And it was fun going through there. There was, some spikes. There was jellyfish enemies that obviously you only see in underwater levels. And then, you have some levels where you're actually running from enemies. There's 2 of those, because sometimes either an enemy has a shield in one case, or it's just a giant behemoth of a creature that's coming after you, and you just have to run away and get out of there. It was really interesting that it had a few different mechanics that it was going through between, having proper boss fights and having run the fuck away because you can't win fights. It was nice. I really enjoyed this game up until they shit the bed.
Nice.
Yeah.
$10. What do you think?
If you like this series, this is definitely a good game. If you don't like this series, this might also still actually be a decent game for you. If you like games like this, I think it's totally worth buying. I actually enjoyed myself, so yeah, I'm for it. Just
cool.
So weird to say. Ugh.
All right. Pernell, what do you think?
Well, I guess that means I might still consider buying it. There we go. And honestly, the whole idea of having a gun being used as propulsion in the final level wasn't much of a deterrent either, actually, believe it or not. So,
yeah, most of the level, it should be perfectly fine, but for that first section, it's really hard is the problem. And they did that on purpose, just to wreck people's day for no reason. It's like it's a very nice, easy game, and then it hits that, and it's like, oh, here's a wall that's 50 feet thick. Have fun bashing yourself through it. Haha.
It almost seems like a practical joke at that point. It's like you thought this was going to be cake. Now that you're in, you're committed. You have to succeed now.
Exactly, and it's so upsetting because I need to get through it. Now I'm going to have to play through it twice, which means I have to get through it twice. And it's like, fuck my life. I can't beat it. I just can't beat it. If I could beat it, it'd be so okay. I could blow through the rest of that level. It's just that first section. It's like, fuck.
But you got to find Banban. You have no choice. You have to find him.
Banban's an asshole. It's fine. We don't need to find that douche.
Poor Banban.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. We made it through. I want to thank all of y'all for being here, hanging out the whole time, keeping us company. Thanks to Adam for coming on for his little guest spot in the middle that we were all totally here for the whole time.
Wink, wink.
Big thanks to Dmitry for coming on and chatting about Coffin Lid with us. Knock on the Coffin Lid is out now. Pick it up, play it, have fun with it. And thanks to Bri for coming on for the first half of the show for the interview as well. Yeah. So basically, thank you everyone but Jacob.
Fuck Jacob.
Fuck Jacob.
Yay, I got to say it on a Tuesday episode too. Fuck yeah. My life is complete.
Poor Jacob.